Hey everyone, and welcome back. I am going to teach you how to create these assets that I've used for our sitemap. Now, these are some great assets. I'm just going to run through them really quickly to explain why we have a bunch of different colors and what they mean and what this container is over here. So these aren't actually going to be components. We are just making some reusable pieces here. If you're not comfortable with components yet, that's totally fine. We don't have to jump into that just yet, but I will teach that. Now, I have decided to show the sitemap in a couple of different ways. Now, we have a page, and I'm going to break it into pages and the links that are available within that page. We have public links, and that means links that anyone can see, even if you are not signed in or registered. We also have member-only links. Those are links for people who are specifically registered with our product. We have more specific links for logging in, signing up, logging out, that kind of stuff. And we have yellow to indicate the outside links that are going to push you outside of the app or product. Ultimately, you may not use all of these. You may use this for future projects. I think it's just great to have them like just ready, but I'm going to get into how to build these. And this is the container over here on the right side that is going to house all of these items. So let's jump right in. So actually, I'm going to just take one of these just to show you what it looks like. So this is essentially just a frame if we break it down. So we can build it together. So what I'm going to do is just use a text layer like I've just done. I press T, and the easiest way to do that is just press T, click, and you have your text layer ready. So if I write, say something like link, and then after I wrap this within a auto layout frame, so I'm going to right click on it, add auto layout. So now I have my link frame. There we go. You can't actually see anything right now because there's no fill. But if we were to, say, press I to get the color picker and use the color picker on this little link over here, we can easily just copy that. So that's all I basically did. You can choose whatever style you like. I'm going to actually stretch this out a bit, and I am going to add a border radius to this. So I have a 4-pixel border radius. I'm also going to make this a tad taller. So I like using fixed heights on things like this. It really depends on if it's going to run to 2 lines. It may be wise not to for something like this, though. Like a button makes sense to use like a fixed height, but something that may run onto 2 lines, I don't really like to take the chance because then it'll look kind of awkward. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. So I'm actually going to keep this pretty simple. We'll make a copy. I'm going to just, duplicate that to the side, and we'll show you what that looks like when you have a fixed height and 2 lines. But so let's jump right in here. So we have the link, we have the auto layout frame. We don't need spacing between items. We can just keep it pretty simple, 16 pixel spacing there and maybe 16 up top. And we will add a stroke. So I'm just going to press the little plus icon here, and there we go. We got our stroke. Now for the stroke, what I did was I just grabbed the color and I basically went down. Don't make it too dark, don't make it too light. It just looks like it's kind of like, just a little bit darker version there. And you can adjust the width, and basically there you go. You could also adjust like opacity if you want of like the link. So the text here, I'm just going to adjust the opacity as 75%, and that is essentially the link. Now, let's actually remove this one and make a copy from this since we have it already ready. So if we had 2 sentences that are on 2 different lines, this is a very long link. So if we have a very long link and we set that to fill the container, we shrink it, the actual auto layout container grows. But if we were to set, say, a fixed height and then copied that text over here, make sure it's set to fill container, then we have this issue where this is a fixed height and it's not going to grow with this anymore. So definitely make sure that if things are going to go to a second line, you don't have it set to a fixed height. So that's essentially how you create these individual links. So you can just give them different colors. I like to do that personally. When it comes to the actual page container though, this one's a little bit more trickier. Let's take a look at how it's built. So first off, I'm going to take that right out. So you can basically Command C or Control C, and you could just drag it out of there. Command V, it's going to paste it underneath there, but you can take it out. So I have my links actually set up in a auto layout container. So, and they only have a spacing of 8 pixels. And within that container are my links. Then I have another layer that's right here. So that is just like my page title. Really simple stuff. Now this is the part that is a bit difficult. All I've done here, if we take a look at it, is create another auto layout container with these traffic lights. So these are just circles in a group. We have green, yellow, and red. Basically, it is literally just grabbing the ellipse tool, which is O, making a copy. Oops. And just to mimic like a top of a browser. So really simple stuff. Then you can group it. And then we would frame it again into like an auto layout frame and call it our header. I know I am moving a little quickly here, but I do just want to give you a good understanding. I'm going to grab the color picker with I and click on this just to get the color. And that's basically it. I mean, that's all there really is to mimicking this header. Once we have that header, we can take the rest of our content. We're going to take everything, and you guessed it, if I press Shift A, it's going to throw it in auto layout frame, and now we have our frame here. And now we can do a bunch of different things. First of all, I'm actually going to set the fill to white. I am going to also add a stroke like I have here. That stroke will be, say, 2 pixels, and I want it to match the color that I have for the header. Another thing I want to do is I want to ensure that this has a nice border radius, so I'm just going to slap something quick on there, and then it's going to clip the content, because you notice I put the border radius, but it didn't really apply to the header. That's because the header background is bleeding off of the frame, and we haven't clipped it. So now that we clip it, it's hidden. Now we have the issue of these things. Now you can't just set the padding within, because if I were to do that, it would also create padding for here. So the best way to handle something like this is to actually wrap these two into their own container. So I'm going to use Shift A and set this new container within here to fill. And then I'm going to select all the contents within. You can see my layers opening up here. I'm going to select them all. You can use Control A or Command A and set them all to fill the container. So now that we have everything fill in the container, we can actually set the different padding and spacing between things. So 16 pixels, I'm going to just have like that as the padding here. And I'm going to set 16 pixels here and 16 pixels at the bottom and the top. And then you can go into your frame, finally, your top level page container. Mine has the name of frame 1, I think it is. And you can remove the padding if you need to. And that's basically all there really is to creating this new page container. Now the only thing here I have to fix is the header and set that to fill container. And there you have it. You can create your very own version of this pretty quickly, and I would say, if you have some time, you can put your own personal spin on it. But that's how you create your own like reusable little asset for sitemaps.